Hi everyone, just doing a sound check. If you could, please let me know if you hear this and I'm coming in loud and clear. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It is I, Lady Heather's maid, and today is the day for her first live Lady Heather-o-ween art event of the season. Are you ready for the spectacular Lady Heather while she creates a ghoulish masterpiece for you? Today, Lady Heather will be creating her fan art of one of her favorite rides at Disney World. A painting from the Haunted Mansion. This is going to be her version of this painting. Now, get ready to join the mad artist, Lady Heather, for some ghoulish fun. Hi everyone, it is I, Lady Heather, and welcome to my haunted art studio. Thank you everyone for joining me today. This is my first live stream for my 2021 Lady Heather-o-ween event filled with art, painting, coloring tutorials, you name it. We're going to have some fun from now until Halloween. Give me a shout out that you can hear me. I am running solo today by myself, so I'm trying to watch the cameras and everyone on text. So let me know that you can hear me and it's just not, my voice moving with no sound. Hi Renee, hi Davissa, hi Mona, hi Nina. Think I saw Laura in here. This is going to be hard for me to keep up with the messages. So, hi Carl. Hi Laura, I was right. Hi Vanessa. Hi Judith. Welcome again everyone. Today we're going to have something a little bit different. And I'm going to go ahead and flip the cameras here. So like I said, bear with me here. Let's see. Aha. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. There we go. Let me get my glove on here. And like I said, I'm trying to pay attention to, hi Heather, to the monitors and all that. So it's going to take me a little bit to get used to this. There we go. Let me back that up. Anyway, so you can see my desktop. You can see me. And we're pretty much good to go. Today, this is basically a fan art or a tribute, if you will, to Walt Disney World's and to Disneyland's Haunted Mansion, one of my all-time favorite rides at both parks. I was fortunate enough to see Disneyland with my parents. I think it was about 12 or 13. And I loved the Haunted Mansion right from the get-go. Then as I got older, I was able to see the Walt Disney World's Haunted Mansion, which I think it's a little bit better, okay, a lot better than the one at Disneyland, at least for me anyway. And I don't know, how many of you have actually gone in to see either Disneyland or Disney World or know of the Haunted Mansion? Give me a shout out there. For those of you who don't, when you go into the ride, okay, and you are asked to step into the main room before the ride begins, and you have this ghostly voice, you know, talking about the guests in the room, and as they're doing it, you can see these paintings along the wall. I think there's 5 or 6 of them. And as you're standing in the center of the room, it's either the paintings are getting bigger because you're going down, or they're getting longer because the ceiling is going up and they're growing. That doesn't matter. What does matter is what is revealed in each of the paintings on the wall. So you would have, like in this case, the tightrope walker. And as it's revealed, you see her standing on the tightrope, and as it shows, you see her demise was being eaten by an alligator. So today, instead of doing her, I'm taking my most beloved duo, and that's Eleanor and Pickles, and replacing them in with the tightrope walker, which was just a single girl with a parasol. Of course, we have our Gator. I kind of know that, you know, they're not going to meet their demise, but for this, they kind of are. So we're just going along with it because it's for Halloween. Like I said, this is fan art. This is going to be the only piece you will ever see of this. There will be no line art available for this. That is not allowed for something like this. And so this is basically a tutorial or art chit chat that you can sit down and just watch and enjoy. For this, I am working through Procreate on my iPad Air. This is an app that you can get with any Apple product. I don't think it runs on Android. And it's like $5.99, $6.99 if you have like a iPad Air, iPad Pro. This is the version 5 that I'm running on. Maybe it's 6. It's one of the latest versions, okay? And you need, of course, an Apple Pencil. The app itself, Procreate, is very user-friendly. I love it. Between that and my Wacom Cintiq when I'm doing any kind of digital work, they're both great. You run on Adobe Photoshop through my Wacom, and then here on my tablet, you can still run Adobe Photoshop, but I rather work on this app. And it's, like I said, it's very user-friendly. For those of you who want to color and add your colorings to your tablets, I would highly recommend the Procreate app, and it's a one-time fee, okay? This is, and by the way, I'm not being sponsored by Apple, Procreate, or anything. This is just my opinion and what I use, okay? So let's get started. This was the original sketch. Hopefully you can all see that. You've been at Disney World. See? Heather, isn't it great? It is like the best. And Laura, you went too. So I'm going to have to, I may miss some of your texts, as I said, since I'm doing this by myself. Um, just bear with me, okay? If I miss it and if I don't welcome you, my apologies right from the get-go. Know that I'm paying attention as best I can, but we also just don't want to chit-chat. You want to see me do my art. So anyway, okay. So hopefully this is, I have something blinking here on my camera. No technical difficulties here. Hopefully that's just we have a full battery. I don't know. We'll let it go. You're all saying everything's coming in really good. So, once again, this is Eleanor and Pickles. Like I said, this is the original sketch I did, the pencil sketch. I went ahead and photographed it and uploaded it onto my tablet and then uploaded it into the app. Okay. The original line art that I did, the inking process, I did it all in black. And I'm like, you know what? I want to go ahead and do this in kind of like a sepia color. And what you have to be careful when if let's say you were adding a coloring sheet to this, okay? You could keep it black, or you could go ahead and open up a new layer, okay? And by doing that, you could ink it in whatever color you want. Preferably, I mean, if I'm doing the line art for you guys to color from, then I would run it in black, and then I could recolor it, the lines in the sepia, which is going to make a softer outline, okay? This, and you want to do everything in layers, okay? For those of you who have tablets and everything like this, thank you, Tom. Tom should be working right now. I see that. This is why I'm running solo. But thank you for coming in and checking in. Like I said, I got something flashing on my camera and I don't know what. So if I lose anybody in the show, we'll just have to reschedule it for another day, because I am not sure why I have something flashing in the middle of my camera screen. So anyway, without further ado, I already have this in the one layer. And like I said, you want to go ahead and rename your layers as you work. This is so important when you're working in digital. And yes, you can forget to rename your layers. I do this all the time. So, and it's just not my brain. It's just everyone does this because you get so involved in your work. So you want to go ahead and rename your layers. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in sepia ink. So I know that this is the layer for this. So if I want to come back and outline anything or do any kind of inking in, I can come back to this layer and we're pretty much good to go. So what I want to do is I'm going to make a duplicate layer of this. And this is going to be fun because I haven't really taught the Procreate, so I'm going to have to, in case I forget a step or something, just kind of bear with me, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and make a duplicate. Oh, come on. This way, if something happens to the one layer, I have a duplicate copy. And you can see now I have the background color, my sketch, the first black and white line art, the sepia, and I have two sepias, okay? So I can go ahead and uncheck one of these boxes for now. So right now, I want to go ahead and get, I'm going to color. This is really something you shouldn't do, but I'm going to go ahead and color on this layer, okay? I have a duplicate, so I'm really not too worried about it. Now, for those of you who love my Eleanor, hi Marianne, my Eleanor and Pickles, okay? Normally I do her with blonde hair. From day one when I created this duo, late one night, and it was just a girl with big glasses and everything. This was back in like June of 2012. Okay, this is how far back my Eleanor and Pickles came from. Okay, she's always had blonde hair. Unless, you know, like if for those of you who are big fans of Eleanor and Pickles, my Vivant Candy, okay, image. When I colored her, she obviously was dressed as a vampire, so she had black hair with kind of blue highlights. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change this, and you're going to use the outer ring. You can also use it to classic like this, but I really like the outer ring, and this is going to give me the liberty to go ahead and pick whatever color, and you can see here and here, whatever color I want. And let me try to zoom in a little bit on this. Okay, if the camera will work with me. Okay, see, this box here is literally changing. I'm going to move this up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set a color. Now, if you're sitting here thinking that, well, I don't have a tablet, I'm not going to learn anything with this. Oh, just forget that idea. You will learn so much, whether you're a color pencil colorist or an artist, a pastel, you love working with markers, crayons, watercolors, what have you. I never really liked digital from the get-go. I never, ever, ever wanted to do anything digital. Let me tell you what, it's got some real pros to it. Real quick, I can sit here and if I make an oopsie, I hit the little back button down here, okay? I didn't lose anything. The effects you can create with this, and you're probably sitting there saying, well, okay, digital, you know, this is with the tablet, it's like $700-800, and then the Procreate app, then the pencil's another $125. It doesn't matter. You can still learn from this tutorial. And you may not be able to do all the fancy effects, but you can come pretty darn close to that with your colored pencils. And this is a great way to watch and say, well, okay, Heather's going to go ahead and lay in, I'm going to go ahead and alpha lock this here. Hang on a second. She's going to go ahead and lay in a certain color. And I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to unlock that. Hang on. Okay. Anyway, you can go ahead and, aha, what am I doing? Back up. Hair, hair, hair. Hey, this is hard teaching this while you're trying to do this. I'm going to lay in the base color of her hair, and I chose a medium yellow. Now, why did it do that? Because I have lines not attaching. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to grab my studio pen. Yep. I'm going to shrink down the size of this. And something else is really cool. I can expand this and I can find out exactly where the problem is. And I can solve that just like this. So I can go ahead and drop and drag here. Whoop. I missed a spot. Okay, where are you? And sometimes it gets really, really picky here. Like so. So then you want to come back and you want to make sure you have a solid line like so. And then you can come on in and drop and drag. Yeah, I'm really bad at connecting lines. Let me go ahead here. Hi, Deb. How are you? Like I said, for those of you who just joined me, welcome. I am running solo, so if I missed your questions, I'll try to take a break here in between, and you can ask me questions. Don't think I'm ignoring you. It's just this is how it's going to be today. Okay, and I'm still missing a set, so I'm going to scroll this down. And this is really, really fun. Because see, I mean, if I were to put yellow here, okay, and I want to scribble here, look at this. I've erased everything and I have a clear thing. Also, this glove, okay, isn't this so totally cool? This is recommended if you use any kind of tablet because it doesn't register your hands, where normally if you're drawing, your hand or your nail or anything like that goes ahead and picks up on the tablet, and you don't want to have any oopsies, more or less. So I want to go ahead and I want to pick a skin color. Now you're probably going to go, what is Heather doing? And I'm going to look for something that kind of looks, I don't want Eleanor to be having too tan a skin. Yes, I am in the red section. And you're going to laugh at this. There goes her glasses again. Let me seal off that. For right now, it looks like it's really Pepto-Bismol. Color. Don't worry about that. It won't by the time we're done. That I can promise you. Yeah, well, at least I'm putting all the lines together. Maybe not. All right, let's get her neck. Maybe. You can go ahead and ask questions here if you want. Right now while I'm doing this. Okay, and what I want here is I'm going to go back to this tan because I forgot to outline something. I like Eleanor's stockings to mix and match. This is how she's always had stockings. And this is probably how, since she's my character, she always will. And, okay, so we don't have to worry about that. We have all of her skin tone in, and like I said, you're probably sitting there going, wow, Heather's really made Eleanor have super dark skin. Okay, so I'm going to come up in here. And I'm going to go to airbrush. Let's see. Oh. Back up, back up, back up. You can ask me any questions while I'm sitting here doing this. There it goes. Okay, get out of the airbrush. Ink, 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 ink. Okay. And I'm going to widen this for a second. And I am going to get shadow here. And I'm going to airbrush this. Like I said, now this is when you can start following along. So if you were using color pencils, hi Jill! If you were using color pencils, okay, you would lay down your base color. That is, if you work, well, this would be kind of like a medium to dark and light. I know there's people like Davissa who colors out there with their colored pencils from dark to light. I, on the other hand, go from light to dark. Although I have done dark to light, I give kudos to anyone who does that dark to light. That takes a lot of courage, because if you make an oopsie, let me tell you what, it's a lot easier to erase in anything or work with anything to correct the oopsies if it's from light to dark. So, well, um, it is and it isn't. It really is one of the most user-friendly programs out there, Jill. Right now it's kind of hard for me um, because I'm trying to teach this and I haven't really gone online to teach this and trying to do this and paying attention to everything since I'm here broadcasting this all by myself. So it's kind of a little, this is the first time doing this by myself. It's a lot overwhelming. The Alpha Lock. But I highly recommend it, Jill. This is really, like I said, one of the most user friendlies. It's all like drop and drag. As far as the Alpha Lock. The Alpha Lock, once you have a color down, okay, and this is really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and lock my last color. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to Alpha Lock this. This means that the last area, unfortunately, is a little bit of skin I did. Let me see. We'll lock in that area. I'm going to switch to, let me see if I can, hopefully it'll Alpha Lock. Make sure I Alpha Locked here. Yeah. Hopefully it's not going to just do that area and it's going to do every area that I colored. But hey, this is a trial and error. Let me go ahead and tell you, this here, this button, you can see this. This controls your pencil width. Okay? This controls the opacity. And this is your back button. You also have a forward button down here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to darken this up just a tad. I have my brush and airbrush. And let's see if this Alpha Locked it. I can't go out any further than the skin. So everything in here, and this is what the Alpha Lock does. It's not allowing me to go up in the hair, anything like that. Basically locks down everything you have in color. And we're going to go ahead and shade this area here. And if you go over a little bit, you don't want it in here, okay, well that's fine. Just go ahead. Get out of the eraser. And fill in. I'm going to go ahead and underneath her neck, there's going to be a shadow. And this is where the shadows and stuff would be honestly the same. Now I know you're still looking going, what is Heather doing with this Pepto-Bismol skin? Don't worry about that. Please don't worry about that. And I'm just sitting in here and I'm laying down some color. Now I tell you, it's going to look really bad before it gets really looking really good, okay? So I want to make sure I have my blend brush here. And now you're going to go ahead and soften this little finger up here that's pointing. That is your smudge button, your blend button. A little bit underneath her nose. And now it's not looking so drastic. We're blending it out. You would be blending this out just like you do on your paper, like so. And if you want to blend out a little more where you worked, go ahead and do so. Let me see. The thing too, Jill, about Procreate is there's plenty of tutorials online. I teach this, and I'll be doing more also in my Patreon. And I said it's a lot easier to teach when you don't have your cameras, your computers, and trying to follow everything here and make sure you know that I'm kind of keeping track with everything. I said usually my assistant is here to help out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a lighter color. So this would be, make sure I got my brush. I'm going to go add, I'm going to lighten this up a little bit, where you would have highlights above her eyes. Maybe a little bit here. Definitely want to have a highlight here. And this is the same as you would do with your colored pencils. I'm going to go back and I'm going to blend this out. And let's say I wanted that here a little bit. To add some blush in there. Now I know this looks really strange, the colors right now. But when we get the other pieces in, it won't be such a stark color. I want to go ahead and add, okay. Going to go back here to my inking. Oh, don't be scared about trying Procreate. No instructions come with the Procreate. You're gonna, when you open up the app, you're gonna see like 3 or 4 pictures that are already done on your app, okay? And then this little plus, let me go here. There's a gallery button here, which I don't want to hit because it'll change what I have here on the screen. Another good thing, when I do that, and if I want to color something else at the same time, it'll keep this picture right here in its same where I left off, okay? But I would hit the gallery button, and then there's going to be a little plus over here in the upper right hand corner. Click that, click whatever size you want, import your picture, and you're good to go. But remember, you want to have various layers, like I said, yeah, to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going trying to find a good brown here. Okay, I'm going to make sure I'm back on my airbrush, which I really like using the airbrush. As you can see, the alpha lock is still on, so anywhere where I laid color is still going to keep me from coloring in other areas. And remember, even in Procreate, you don't like something, hit the back button. And all I'm doing is laying in some shadows right now. Like so. I'm going to go ahead and switch to a hard medium brush here. Now I'm going to keep that. Don't mind me. I'm going to do a little bit blending here. And that snoring is my Shih Tzu. One of them. That's Bella. She's always got to take a nap when I'm teaching, and she snores terribly. Okay. So, right now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay in some other color here. Okay, in the original picture, she had kind of a peachy salmon color umbrella. And I'm good with that. Remember, take your alpha lock off. Okay, and the outer layer is a little lighter. Go here. I already know I didn't connect the line, so I'm going to go ahead and connect this line. And I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to drop and drag. Or maybe not. I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in since it's being real persnickety. I was having problems with this earlier today when I was working on some line art. Anyway, like I said, don't mind her face. Let's see. I'm going to go medium pink. On her sleeves. Yes, that is from me not connecting the lines. Okay, she had white gloves, so I'm going to leave that as that. Her top. And for all of you who are wondering where I'm saying this, I am looking at a reference piece of the original painting itself that is in both Disneyland and Disney World. Going to make this a little more purple. Oh no, wasn't going to do that again. Okay, and connect the lines here. And there we go. Her collar. I'm going to go ahead and connect that. And now you can see how the brown lines kind of work in with everything. So now we have that. I'm going to go ahead and go with hot pink glasses. Or kind of like a medium. Because this is Eleanor, and she's all about just having fun with her glasses. Whoa. Back that up. All right. So her shoes are going to be pink. This is really a shocking pink, so. And we have the soles of her shoes, and we're going to go back to this kind of brownish. See, now it's starting to look like something. All right. Check in here. Aw, thank you, Heather, for inviting people. That is really, really sweet. Thank you. I have 3 tiers on Patreon. They range from, I think it's a dollar or $1.99 to $10. I know it's the bottom one that always gets me. It's either $1 or $1.99 a month, and there's $5 one, and then the Lotus Storms are $10 a month. Anyway, thank you for that. Okay, and let's see. And her skirt in the original painting is kind of white, light pink, and gray. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to take some liberties here. And I'm going to make it some multicolor. Like I said, my Eleanor is always about fun. Her and her frog, Pickles, the one and only. And see, and it's fun just to lay down the color, and it's really easy to see. I mean, if you don't like how it's going, like I said, hit the back button. And this is kind of what makes it a little bit better, especially if you're trying new stuff, than, you know, actually doing it on pencil and paper. And the effects are really, really, really cool with this. I'm going to go ahead and go back up to the purple. Let me go for a different medium purple here. And I'm going to lay in her bow hair. Come on, iPad, stay up with me. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go back and grab a medium yellow because I missed a little bit on her hair here. I'll scroll down here. I'll manually color that in there. We have her eyebrows too. Let's see, go back to that gray. Whoa. That was a little too... That was really a weird color. Don't mind me. Okay, and I'm going to add in, let's kind of add in a little bit of like a bluish. Okay, you're being difficult. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and lay in some green for Mr. Pickles. I'm not really worried about his tongue at this present time, being that, because you can always cover that up. Let me tell you, it is kind of fun just really dropping and dragging the color. And I find that this is really kind of cool just to play with colors. With the digital, you have more of a chance to want to experiment with things than you would normally. Oh, come on. And if I missed anyone, please don't think I'm ignoring you all. Thank you very much. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and lay in. Oh, let's see. I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to go ahead and choose a blue for this. And that would be for her belt. Let's see, and I see Mr. Pickles here. All right. And her stockings, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to grab a peach. I want to bring in some of the color from that umbrella. Take a sip here. Got my Halloween mug. Yes. I mean, gotta have coffee in your Halloween mug, otherwise it's not right. Decaf, by the way. Almond milk. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And I'm going to make her other stocking a little bit on the pink side. Okay, her gloves, his vest. Kind of go with that darker purple. Like so. Okay, I'm not really worried about, well, I'm not worried about anything else right this second. What I'm going to go ahead and do, going back to my reference photo here in case you're all wondering, I'm going to add a little bit of gray here. I want to get out of my studio pen. I want to go back up here to the airbrushing. I always like to lay in a little gray underneath the eyelid. You always have, I mean, you can go in the mirror and take a look. You always have some kind of, if you look in the whites of your eyes, you have a darker line of kind of like a gray, a shadow, because your eyelid is obviously overlaying your eyeball. And you want to go ahead and get that in there. And I'm going to go ahead and do that a little bit on Pickles' eyes and so forth. I'm going to go up here and get a nice brown here. And I'm going to go ahead and start working in her hair. Now I know I said blonde, and it will be blonde. Eleanor's hair actually kind of is a dirty blonde. And this would be the same thing that you are doing with your colored pencils at this time. You want to go ahead and start what I would call doing the shading, the finishing details, making this piece really start to stand out. There is so much you can do with Procreate. I mean, it's not all just about coloring, you know, the straight drop and drag and stuff like this. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Marianne. Yeah, I love them. I love them too. I haven't colored an Eleanor and Pickles in quite a while. They're just so fun. I'm going to tell you, not every live stream event that I'm going to be doing from now until Halloween is going to be digital. I just wanted to do this digital, and you'll see why, because you can do some really awesome things. And you're sitting there going, yeah, Heather's really choosing some really funky colors here. But we'll be working with colored pencils and everything. Oh, wait, I should tell you. The next live stream is going to be October 17th at 2 p.m. That is a Sunday. I may do another live stream here during the weeks and get me more used to doing this, you know, by myself. This is a first. So I think I'm doing pretty good. But anyway, I will give you a little clue. Oh, wait a minute. Should I give you a clue or not? Yes. It's all about witches. Now, that's all I'm going to say. But I will have a promo trailer, probably like one or two of them, throughout the week. You will be able to see what I will be coloring. And trust me, you are so going to love next week's and the trailers to this coming week. Yep, it's just me having fun for Halloween. We'll just leave it at that, okay? But yeah, just the theme is witches. Now, whether it'll be a good witch or a bad witch, I don't know, but that's the question. Good witch or bad witch? A crazy witch, maybe. But I guarantee you, when you see the promos and the trailer to the next show, you all will just die laughing. I mean, it is. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. It's all in the spirit of Halloween. That's all I can say. Okay. Now you can see I already have some nice highlights and shadows going on here. But I'm going to make it a little more interesting. A lot more interesting, I should say. Blend out some of these shadow or highlights here. Told you she was going to be a blonde. Like so. And something when you're doing your highlights, you don't want in hair, you don't want them to all be solid, like straight across. You want to have some diversity in your lines, because if you look at like say if you go to the mirror, shine a flashlight, or look out in the sun when you're looking, at your hair, um, you have the really stark shadows, the really strong shadows, and then you have ones that are kind of blended in, hazed in into the hair. And that's what makes it really, you don't want to have, there's, hairs have so many different textures and patterns to them, lengths and strands of hair. So it's going to be such, especially if you have black hair, a very reflective quality to the hair. Okay, so now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and come over here to this kind of like get a highlight on this ruffle. And I find when I work digitally, I do this too though with the colored with my colored pencils and that. I like to work overall on the piece. I want to add some of those highlights to that umbrella, that ruffle. Like so. And I'm going to go ahead and click that alpha lock again. And I'm adding in some shadows there, or highlights. I'm going to come up like so. I'm going to darken it up. Now you can also, you can see that I'm covering up over my lines. Those are the lines that I outlined the image in. You can also put a layer underneath it where your lines are not covered. But this is how I'm doing it this time. All right, I'm going to go down here to her leg. And I'm going to highlight the center of her stocking. And at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and darken some of those areas. Yes, it is my birthday. Halloween, yes. Hi, Dustin. Yeah, so I'm more prone to, I just love the month of October. Actually, I started decorating for Halloween, truthfully, in August. I couldn't wait. And then I go to the Halloween stores, right? And guess what? Nobody had Halloween decorations. I'm like, are you kidding me? Halloween. Y'all know it happens every year. Why do you not have them? And I guess it's because of the shipping and all that. But still, it doesn't make someone like me who loves Halloween wasn't warm and fuzzy. So I had to decorate. I was having Halloween withdrawals. I get Halloween withdrawals basically around June. Those of you who know me know what I'm talking about. I already start posting that stuff on my Facebook page. That and Christmas are like my favorite holidays. Okay, so you can see how it's really coming to life. All right. Going to add some gray. Take off the alpha lock. Adding a little bit to her gloves. And for those of you who missed this or have to leave, you can go ahead and watch it later on. I'll have the replay showing. Okay, like so. Now I'm going to go ahead and get that stick in to the umbrella. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a lighter brown. Like so. And a little bit of the darker brown. Like so. We have to get the stick in there to the umbrella, like so. And I'm going to go ahead and get a lighter brown. I'm going to go back here to my airbrush. A little lighter brown. Going to highlight her shoes. And then go in and darken them. Like so. Thank you, Jill. Oh no, he can watch it later. Okay, thanks everyone for loving this. So now I'm going to go ahead and swirl around here. That may be a little too dark. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Switch to my smaller airbrush here. And now I'm going to start adding in a little bit of the shadows. Wasn't dark enough. And a little bit that darker gray. Yeah, how many of you are ready for new coloring books coming out? I have three, maybe four of them coming out this month. So get ready. The first one that'll be coming out is the long-awaited Pretty Possum book, which is really fun, all about cute little possums. Having a whole bunch of adventures, let's put it that way. I had finished my thing. I got caught up in what I was coloring. That happens. Which I'm sure you all know. Then I have the Midnight Carnival. Yes, finally, the long-awaited release to the Midnight Carnival will be happening this October. Can you believe it? And then I have two other books, but you know what? I'm not going to tell you what they are. You'll have to wait and see. I know I'm terrible that way, aren't I? And I'm just having fun here coloring. Adding a little shadow to her stocking here because of the leg. I should say, well, tell Dustin hi for me, Heather. If we wouldn't have had the technical difficulties yesterday, it all would have been a go, but oh man, it was a mess. And my apologies. I said for those of you who came out, it just wouldn't broadcast. And when it broadcasted, just things were going so wrong. But we're up and running. And that's a good thing. A little bit on her glasses here. This pocket, and we're going to smudge out. Oh, that sounded bad. Smudge out. I don't know if that was the right word to use, but that's what I did. See, I told you it was going to look really bad at first, and then it like all starts just tying together really, really super nice. Gonna lay in a little bit of color there by her eyes. And drop a little bit of this blue on her stockings. See, when it starts really going really good, you can't help yourself. It just starts, I mean, it takes like within minutes, and you're just zipping right along to the next color. Like so. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and go back up to her eyes. Probably I always paint her eyes, although I put a blue base down on it. I normally paint her eyes green, and it's probably because I have green eyes. So Eleanor should have green eyes. I should say Eleanor is a lot like me, although I'm not blonde. Although I did do that like in my early 40s. I did add some blonde highlights. Didn't like it, just had to play. Also had purple highlights too at one time. But anyway, my mom saw that and she kind of freaked on that. Oh, why? It's all fun. Hey, listen, I was even painting an elementary school at this time, okay, and this was in October too, okay, and I had purple highlights. It was on the mild side. Brunette hair, kind of, purplish highlights. And I go on in, and the principal is looking at me, and I painted this school mural. They had murals all over the whole entire walls. I painted this mural on, wow, after school hours. So when the kids were leaving, like at 2:45, I was there until like 10 o'clock. And he goes in, well, and this is the beginning of October. He's like, oh, a little early for Halloween. And I'm like, it really wasn't that bad. I mean, it's just purple highlights, right? But the reactions you get from people, although my mom, see, it is back to brunette, so I know she's happy with that. All right, so now what I'm going to do is darken up that eye a little bit here. Nope, there we go. All right, and I'm going to add some shadows to Pickles. A little bit underneath his vest here, on his belly, underneath his neck, underneath his eyeballs, around by his cheek, on his arm. And so forth. Gonna soften that out a little bit. I do not have the alpha lock on, so it did go out a little bit, but I'm gonna fix that just like so. Erase it. Okay, so I'm looking at this overall, and wait, gonna go ahead. Did you like that? That's the sound when you do something wrong. But see, you have this great back button, so it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to go out and buy, a $600-700 tablet and say, well, Heather said. No, if you can, go for it, With that being said, if you wanted to experiment, Wacom has one. I think it was like $199. I think it's the Wacom one, or maybe it's $399. It'll do the same thing. Although Wacom does run, like I said, on Photoshop, which is a lot more complicated than the Procreate. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink this image down. Now, watch this. Before I get too carried away and start outlining and everything, I am going to change layers. So I'm going to go ahead and add a layer. This is layer 5. And I'm going to rename this right now. And although we have one that's called background color, I'm going to make this background number 2. Okay? Well, maybe it'll let me. Hi, Rachel. Welcome. Thank you, Laura. Now, this is really the fun part. We're going to be, like I said, working in this other layer, okay? And this is what's so cool about this. So let's go ahead and say I'm going to go ahead and pick a nice shade of blue. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch brushes here, okay? I'm going to go ahead, and you can download free brushes too off of the internet. You can buy brushes because let me tell you what, they all don't come. Procreate does come with some really nice brushes, but I find it doesn't cover everything that I really want it to do. So each one of these brushes does something else, okay? And that's what really makes it really, really fun. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose, let me see, let me go back here. Wet watercolor. No, I'm going to go back here to the watercolor. And I'm going to choose a blue. And it may take some time to go ahead and find the right blue you want. Okay? Don't worry about that. Just go and have some fun. Now you see this. I want to make sure I'm in the right area. I'm going to take the background and I'm going to put it underneath all my other layers. Why am I doing that? Because if not, the background is going to cover up everything that you've done, okay? And we can't have that. So now I'm going to go ahead, watch this. Now I'm not really worried about it coloring my gator or the water or anything like this. And the harder you push, the darker the color gets. I really like using the watercolor brushes for this, for the background. And now look at this, where it's starting to come along. We have a background. Now if I want to go ahead and add in, say I want to add in a darker blue. Well, that's really dark. And get my smudge brush here. And I'm going to soften that out a bit. Like so. Now, you can go ahead and there are tons of other brushes you can play with. I mean, if I wanted to add salt to this, and salt is something that you can use in watercolors. If you're actually laying down a piece of paper, you have your water, you add the color, and you throw some salt on it. Once the salt dries, it'll pick up splotches of the color, okay? And then you just dust it off when it's dry, preferably about 24 hours later. But I can go ahead and add some salt to this, which is going to give me pretty much the same effect as I would if I was doing this on regular paper. And since I'm having water and stuff down here in the bottom, I'm not too much worried about what's happening down here, okay? Like I said, we're coloring the background and we already have our image. We've lost nothing. And I'm going to soften up a little bit of this salt, like so. Now, in the original painting, she has leaves gathered all around her, which is fine. We'll add those here in a minute. But right now, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go back to her hair. Now, I'm going to go ahead and leave that. I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer. Now, layer 6, since I already had layer 5, and that's the background too, layer 6 went ahead above layer 5. So I'm going to hold my finger down, and I'm going to drag the layer 6 up. Okay? Now, at any time, you see these little check boxes? If I were to uncheck it, the whole image just disappeared. So you want to go ahead, and I'm going to create a duplicate layer of what I have, because I did this earlier today and I forgot to make a duplicate layer, and guess what? I lost the whole entire image. Now I have a duplicate layer and I'm going to uncheck one of them. Now I can't lose it. Now also, when you build up in layers here in Procreate, and this is really a crash course of this, you can only have so many layers. You can condense the layers and do it this way, but I think it's like either 24, 25 layers and so forth you can have. So you have to be very careful and mindful of that. Oh, thanks, Renee. Thanks, Laura. Oh, thank you. Oh, there's so many. I mean, I can lower this. I could make this sheer AMS. I don't know who that is, and I don't want to do this. I know you are. I'm trying to catch up on everything since I don't have my assistant here. I know you are. Everyone is waiting for that book, The Midnight Carnival, Marianne. And I've added so many. I've added a lot of things to that coloring book, so I know you're really going to love it. Hi, Rachel. In case I missed everyone, my apologies. Yeah. So let's go ahead and I could show you, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back up here to a layer. Now, I don't want that bouquet set. I'm going to go here. And if I wanted bouquet, and I'm just going to show you this, and I may leave it. I'm going to do it big here so you can see it first. Uh-oh, hold on. I'm working in the one that I disappeared. Check this out. And I'm trying to exaggerate this so you can see this. And I want to go lighter. You know what? I may, whoops, don't want it on the umbrella. That's the problem. You have to do it so you don't get it on your image. Which I really shouldn't be doing this on this, so let me go ahead and get another layer. I'm going to go ahead and put it back here on the background. But you can see the bouquet. Do you realize how easy this is? I mean, truly. Come on. Yes, I talk to my pencils. Check that out. I mean, truly. So now I'm going to add another layer. I'm going to go ahead and bring this on up. And I'm going to rename it. And this is kind of be like finishing lines. You can name it whatever you want, just so you know. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this. Make sure the top layer is the one that you're going to be working on. Okay. So we're not going to destroy anything that's below. I'm going to go ahead and go back up here to my studio pen, which is one of my favorite. I'm going to enlarge in this. And now I'm going to start adding in the detail. Like so. Now it's starting to look like Eleanor. Forgot about Pickles' eyes. He always has googly eyes and so forth like this. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink it back down. That's something else too. I forget when I'm doing this. I think I have to work in such a small area, but I can widen it just by moving. You have to put down your fingers, and then spread it out, and then put down your fingers and close it back up. I'm going to go ahead and change this, and I'm going to flip to my colors here. Remember, we are working in layer 6. Now, a little hint. Sometimes, like I say, I forget the layers. So if you're unsure what layer you're in, always go back and check. You know, yeah, go back and check. That's all I can say. I may get a little quiet during this part here. And then I start having fun with the hair, because come on, not all hair is going to be perfect. And so forth like this. Now, like I was saying, watch this. Finishing lines, it's all gone. Check the lines, and it's all right back. And sometimes my hand like that gets real shaky. Delete button. They also have controls on here for you to adjust the jitters and stuff like that. But I really don't like changing any of those controls unless I really, really have to. I'd rather just concentrate harder and, yeah, and try. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and lighten that up. Come here to this orange, or to that yellow. Oh, thank you. I'm really glad you're loving her. Now I'm going to add some of the light hair strands. If you do have a tablet like this and you want to go ahead and get one of these gloves, they're like $8-9 and they are a lifesaver. Okay, I'm going to go back in here to the brown. I'm making her a little more comic booky. I don't know if that's a word. Comic booky? Lighten that up. And darken it back up. Too dark. Everyone got so quiet. Truly, you got quiet. I really hope you're having fun enjoying this tutorial. Okay, I'm going to lighten this up a little bit. No, I'm going to switch here. Well, thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay. I mean, none of you were worried about the color of her skin, but do you see how when I first started that Pepto-Bismol pink like skin that I added? I mean, I bet you're like, uh-huh. Don't know what Heather's doing, but okay. Bet I had you really worried there. Let's see. Go to textures here. See, you have like a gazillion brushes here to choose from, and that's kind of what makes it really. I mean, you even got a jeans. I'll show you here. If it's not going to do that, back up. Let me see if I can do this here. I mean, look at that texture. I mean, it's great texture. And see, it's gone. Okay. Go back here. And you can come in and add, you know, she's got these, you know, plastic framed glasses and stuff. There's going to be color bouncing. And that's the kind of fun part of this. Things that you wouldn't normally try, you can do. And I still encourage you, even if you're doing it on paper, try. Live outside that box. What's the worst thing that can happen? You'll either have to hit the delete button on the digital tablet, or you crinkle it up and start again, or before you crinkle it up and start again, for those of you doing it on the traditional style, put it aside. Say, I made such a terrible oopsie, put it aside in the circular file, or not in the circular file, put it aside, come back to it. Clear your mind. Who knows? Maybe when you walk away from it, instead of trying to say, I have to fix this, and it's not going right, the best thing I do is, or just flip it upside down. Out of sight, out of mind. Come back when you have a fresh perspective on it. And in the back of your brain, it'll sit on that back burner, you know what I'm talking about, and then come back and do it. Always do that in case you get stuck. Nothing says you have to finish anything in an X amount of time. You don't. When you're coloring, you're in your own world and you're in your own time frame. Eek. And I'm going to go here to the blue. Since there is water here, I'm going to add a little reflective blue. And I'm going to come in with my white. Paying attention to my light source. And when I do the digital coloring, I like to add a little bit of white on her eyes, just give her a little sparkle. And I also like to come in And you know the bottom line of your lid, I like to whiten it there. I'm going to come in. What am I working in? That pastel brush. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the airbrush. And what was I going to do? I don't know. I just completely forgot what I was going to do. I remember. Tiny, tiny, tiny. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You know what else is really good about the digital, or if I'm having like a really bad hand day with my MS, or or those you have fibro and arthritis and that, I can't tell you, digital coloring really is easy on your hands. Figure he's got a satin vest on. I mean, he's Pickles. He'd have to be in the style. All right. Okay, now I'm going to come in. Oh, awesome. Thank you. I'm telling you, I highly advise it. What's the worst thing you can do? You hit the back button. Delete a layer. They even have delete layers on here, which we don't want to do. Thank you, Carl. You've been quiet today. I'm glad you're having a good time. Like I said, normally if I was coloring, I'd go ahead and have the layer, have the outline, and then color underneath it. But since there's so many colors and I didn't want the brown to go all the way through, I decided to do it this way and outline it that way. Gonna widen this up. Yes, I'm putting purple lipstick on her. I couldn't help myself. You know how I am with purple. sometimes you do oopsie, and you do when you're widening it and closing it like that. Yeah, sometimes you can make a real oopsie and draw on it. But what do? Hit the back button. And that oopsie goes away really quick. All right. And now for the fun part, outlining her glasses. Don't do that. Back up. Thing about drawing straight lines, if you're doing it on traditional paper, don't sit there and think, I can't draw a straight line. Just imagine the line and draw it. You can even close your eyes, put the pencil down, and draw it. On the digital tablet, which comes in really handy, watch this. I'm drawing a straight line. If I hold it down, it automatically corrects. Is that not so cool? If I'm doing an oval, as long as a half a circle, it automatically corrects it. I mean, how easy is that? Truly, how easy is that? A nice little hack or cheat. And if you don't want that, you can turn that option off. But it does come in handy. Oh, and I don't know why I'm turning my iPad. If I want, I can go ahead and turn the whole entire image like so. I'm giving away all my secrets. Well, not all of them. Okay. There I go. I'm just going to turn my whole entire iPad. See? Oopsie. Delete. Hold down, twist, and now you're back up. Okay. So I want to go ahead and get a dark gray. And I want to come on in. If I was going to be coloring this traditional style, I would not be outlining it like this. Maybe I would if I was going to go ahead and do the same thing. I shouldn't say that. If I was going to do it this comic book style, since this is a whimsical image, yeah, I guess I'd probably outline it too. It just depends on my mood, actually, and what kind of look I'm going for. Get my eraser, went up a little bit on her. And I'm going to come into this glove. Now, watch this. This is what's really, really cool. And it's like she's got rhinestones on her glasses. You can get carried away with the light pen. I'm not going to kid you on that. That flare, you really, really can. That's the bad thing with that. And I'm going to add a little glitter onto her dress. Yes, the original painting didn't have any of that. But look at this, is a simple brush. This is a brush that you can do and add this stuff with. I'll glitter her shoes a little bit, just a little. Okay, I'm going to glitter just a little bit on his jacket. Okay, going to come in here, change back pins, go back here to the inking. Whoa. Yeah, there we go. That was scary. That was really, really scary. I'm not going to do that again. Matter of fact, I'm going to go in here. It's things like that that make you go, ugh. And that can be really, really scary. So I'm going to duplicate that layer, okay? I don't think it duplicated that. Oh, come on, duplicate. And I'm going to take one of those layers away. You don't know how scary that was. That was so scary, I just about lost it. And it did this to me earlier. Hold on a second, let me see. Okay, don't do this. It like my iPad just totally like locked up. Okay. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add pink to his tongue. Tell you, that just scared the bejeebies out of me. Yep. Here I am telling you, oh, you can lose it. Make sure you save it. I'm telling you, when you get caught up in stuff like this, it's so easy to forget what you're working on. Absolutely, Deb, you can go ahead and import an image, and it would be through your gallery. Let me show you. I know, whoop. Okay, so you can have an import, or you can go ahead and open up a new layer, and then you could just go ahead and hit the wrench, and it allows you to add and then photo or so forth like that. Yeah, his tongue needs to be red there. I almost forgot about Pickles' tongue. Oh, poor Pickles. He was having a rough day. And Pickles always has some freckles. So since I all told you what the theme was going to be for this coming Sunday, witches, any ideas if you think I'm going to go super scary? Or am I going to go fun? That is the question. I kind of did his eyes backwards, so I'm going to correct that here. Don't mind me. And if you are going to color in a palette, don't get overwhelmed by all the brushes and stuff. Just go with it. That's all I can say. Just go with it. Eek. Just adding some okay, like so. Okay, so now we have, I'm going to go ahead and do her parasol real quick. Whoops. Oh, you're most welcome, Deb. Just adding a little detail into there. Okay. Now, we already have the background done. We've already inked it in. I'm going to go ahead and grab it. And sometimes it's easier to shrink down an image. Sometimes not. Okay, now what we have on the original piece, and I'm going to go ahead and look at my layers, and I'm going to go back down to the ink here. That ink layer. And we have a couple different mountains. I'm going to go ahead looking for my, there we go. I'll try this brush. Whoop, too big. And I'm adding textures to the landscape behind. This is so off in the distance that it doesn't matter what was I saying? The perfect coloring to this, okay? You're adding your highlights and your, get my eraser here. Erase that, whoopsie. And now I'm going to come in with a darker color. Still go with this kind of gray. The funnier the better. I can't tell you. I can't tell you if it's going to be funny. You're just going to have to wait and see. Okay, I can tell you. You're going to be laughing so hard when you see the promo. I can tell you that. Now we have instant mountains. Off in the distance. In like no time flat. I mean, seriously, no time at all. And I'm going to go ahead and the same thing. I'm going to just come in and give it a little highlight. Like so. I mean, really, like so. Okay, so now the gator, and I keep referring back here to my reference here, his mouth. Eleanor really is the hardest part to this. Okay, his tongue is going to be a little redder, like so. And pull over here. And I'm going to find a medium green. And I'm going to go ahead and close off that. Whoop, wrong brush. Ink, ink, ink. Get my studio. And I'm going to go ahead and drop and drag. Nope, it didn't do that. Okay, no problem. I'm going to alpha lock the layer. And hope this works. I always say hope. Yeah. Something like this, yeah, I'm hoping this is going to work. Oh yeah, it alpha locked me out. Back that up. Undo that. And I'm just kind of going to go for it. Light pressure here. Darker pressure here. Light pressure up on the nose. And darker pressure on the other side. And I'm just laying in some base color to our little gator, who's got some really, really sharp teeth. I don't know, they don't look too scared, I have to say. I mean, if I was Eleanor and Pickles, I'd kind of be worried about the gator chomping at me here. Seriously. Okay, so now we have the gator. I'm going to go ahead and get a nice light brown here. Yeah, I mean, truly, I'd be kind of worried about, call me silly, but I would be kind of worried about the gator. I don't know about you, but I'm going to go ahead and color. Solid brown. And how are we doing on time? Oh, a little over 2 hours. Okay. Well, we're going to be done here in no time. Whoop. Wrong one. Whoop. Forward. We're almost done. I'm not going to continue part 2, so this went a little longer than expected, but eek. Well, that didn't work out right. Come on, draw the straight line. Sometimes it takes 2 tries. Telling you, hard lines. I forgot to hold down my magic button there. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and take a darker brown. Haha. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay, it's not going to work. I will manually color it in. Like so. They even have grids on here too. So should you kind of, want the grid lines and so forth like that, then don't, Sorry, I got quiet there on you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the studio pen and I'm going to go ahead and draw in the tightrope. And the picture, the tightrope went off the page, off the painting. Like so. And now I'm going to come up and scoop up. The tightrope like so. I'm going to come in with a darker line. Thank you. I do hope you're all having fun. Whoops. And a lighter line. You see how that just made it pop? Whoops. Okay, so we have that. And now I'm just coming in with the rope line. Like so. Told you the hardest part was Eleanor. It wasn't that she was hard, she was more detailed. Now, one thing we're missing here, I'm going to go ahead and grab some of this gray. It's kind of like a gray-green, or that brown. Smooth out those lines down below. They can be jig-jaggedy like that, but I didn't want that texture coming through. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, and I think it's in organic. Maybe not. Go through my brushes. I'm looking for my leaf brushes. Telling you, get carried away collecting brushes, and it's really fun. It really, really is. Go back to the organic. Some of these are in here. And sometimes it does take a couple seconds to go ahead and find out where your brushes are hidden. I'm going to go back to the organic. And I'm going to go back to pick this green here. And we have instant leaves. Seriously, how cool is that, right? I'm just, it's and then we're just going to go ahead and finish the gator. We're almost done. I definitely need to get out of the organic leaves. I'm going to go back to my other small airbrush. Get his really jagged teeth in there. I have dream nightmares about gators tonight. Okay, gonna go ahead and change this to a little I want his teeth to have kind of a grungy in his gums. I mean, you know, he's been eating some nasty stuff in the swamp, although this does not look like a swamp. It really doesn't look like a swamp. Go up in the teeth a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to go in. See, this is a tough call. I'm going to go ahead and get some toss between going whether I'm going to go pure white or the off-white, and I think I'm going with this off-white for right now. Like so. And I'm going to come in with the white. I really don't want his teeth to be, thanks, have fun. Bye, Carl, thanks for joining me. Oh, the squirrel. Sorry about that. The squirrel, Rhodey the squirrel, you're going to have to wait and see because, yeah, I think he's going to be making, matter of fact, I'm pretty darn sure we will be checking in with Rhodey the squirrel for, yeah, Halloween. Yep, closer to Halloween. Oop, too big, too big. Matter of fact, I can tell you that I have been in touch with Carl. Oh, I just got alarms going off left and right. I have been in touch with Carl about Rhodey, and he will be assisting me with our Rhodey event, which will be coming up in the next couple weeks. All right, let's shrink this down. Whoops, see what happens? Shrink that down. I mean, check this out. Seriously, it's so cool to do. We're almost done. Bella just came in looking at me going, Ma. We're just fine tuning. I know I'm getting really super quiet. My apologies. And if you're wondering what I'm looking at, I'm truly looking at the reference of the Gator and stuff. Since this is fan art, that's the only time you really can do something like that, by the way. And I said I didn't want the girl. I wanted one of my characters to be in the main scene, and I couldn't resist to do this to Pickles and Eleanor. I love them, but they just had to get in the Halloween spirit. I am using the airbrush effect, and I mean it actually really does look like it's airbrushed here. We are so close to being done here. And I do want to thank you to all who joined me today. I do apologize if I haven't paid enough attention to the chat today. Hey, but I did pretty good just, doing this by myself. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Which, of course, for all those of you who know me, yes, I had to get my Walking Dead Neganism in there. How many of you are watching The Walking Dead this season? The last season, by the way. Any thoughts? Are you liking it? And I am just kind of freehanding this here. It's funny because you're so close, and I'm sure you get this way, you know what I'm talking about. When you're coloring, you're so close, and your adrenaline just starts kind of pumping faster and faster because you know you want this done. Because you can taste it. A little more definition on these teeth. I don't want them to get lost in that sky. So what's really cool is to darken it, or to darken it on the bottom and keep your highlight on that other side. And that's how you make things really, really come to life and pop. Just by a few easy strokes. I mean, truly, it's the best thing I can say about any kind of coloring, painting, or anything like that is learn your lighting source and your your highlights and your shadows. And that's really what brings an image and makes it, kind of stand out. Getting all those teeth sockets. I mean, but do you see how the teeth is really just coming to life and popping out? And let's shrink this down a little bit. I mean, look at this. It's just go ahead. I know, I'm sorry, I'm so quiet. I feel bad. I know I've kept you here so long today, and I'm so sorry. When you're doing gators and stuff like this, and you just want to kind of be loose with your coloring. It's kind of why I've kind of gone with this airbrush feel. Too big. Back up. Come on, there we go. So how many of you would like to see more digital coloring? I guess that's a good question to ask. And I think it's time to add the water, and I think we are done with this gator. Totally different from how we started out, huh? All right. So there we are. We're just going to go ahead and add some water lines. And I'm going to go back to my background layer. Excellent. It's really fun. It really is. Like I said, my apologies for going quiet there. What? I do not like that. Going back to my watercolor brush. Come out, come out. Remember where we are on the background layer. So we have liberty here without it going I go a little darker. I'm kind of smudging out some of those lines, okay? And then, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna kind of go into this gray a little bit. Remember, we're in this background here, so come in, shrink this down a little bit. Too small. Did I just lose my watercolor brush? No. And then, if you want to get really fancy, they have water brushes on here, and I can't remember whether I added this or not. Oh, hold on a minute. I think these are ones that I actually bought. Trust me, you can spend hours looking for free brushes. Just make sure it's from a reputable downloading site. And I can't find elements. If you wanted to, let me show you this. See the water pattern? But it doesn't really go, that's more of a pool, but is that not really cute? I want to go ahead and add some sparkles. Just on the horizon line, and I am going to come back in with my brush and go back to the organic. There's my too close. Sometimes like that, the leaf brush, you can see it kind of scatters and does its own thing. So you're just going to have to play with it and get your own pattern going. Here we are. It is done. There's our gator and everything. And my tribute or fan art to the Haunted Mansion's Tightrope Walker painting. So, this is all for now. I'm going to go ahead and I hope you have had fun today like I did. Thank you so much for joining me. Stay tuned. Like I said, join my YouTube channel. Tell your friends. Subscribe to it. If I hit 500 fans by Halloween, I will have an awesome prize for one of you. And we will do a live drawing there. So 500 fans, tell your friends, subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, on Sunday, for sure, I may throw in a live show between now and then, but on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, October 17th, you will want to be here. It is our witch show. And I can't tell you what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. You're just going to have to wait and see. But it is, we're going to have a ghoulish, spectacular time. Thank you very much. I had a blast. Till next time, bye for now.